It takes 5 members to vote up or down, or give approval or denial to the items on the agenda. So if you think you stand a better chance with more than 5 that are present at this moment, you may talk to the secretary over here and let her know. Our procedure for conducting business is the petitioner for each item will be asked to come forward and present his or her request and to answer any questions that the members of the board may have. Then anyone interested or in opposition to the proposal will be asked to come forward and voice their opinion. Opponents or proponents shall be limited to 10 minutes per side. The time limit may be extended by a majority of those voting. Once public testimony and discussion for a particular item on the agenda has concluded, the members of the board will deliberate and will render a decision. Members with a personal or financial interest in any of these requests are required to recuse themselves from voting. Any testimony submitted by the petitioner or on behalf of the petitioner during presentation of this agenda item will be binding as to any decision the board makes relative to the motion. If a motion to deny is made, board members, a reason must be given. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce the board members who are present. We have present George C. Howell Jr., Steve Hughes, Jennifer Shaw, Nathan Williams, and I am K.T. Brown, the vice chairman. The chairman is absent today, so I am substituting. So anything that comes out of order, you know I am substituting. We have James Center on planning control, Tanya Ingram, recording secretary, and Helen Milliken, who is seated. We have a member coming in now. This is Mr. Bart Prince. Hey, Mr. Prince, I'm glad you're here.
How you doing? Well, accidents in the rain.
Are there any changes to the agenda?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. There may be one.
Number?
No, item number 5.
Item number 5.
Is probably going to be delayed because he can't make it. Unless he shows up.
Delayed. Did each one of you get that?
Yes.
We will now proceed. Ms. Shaw, will you please give us a prayer?
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity that you have given us to serve the city of Montgomery. Guide us as we listen to the petitions and let us be fair in our approval or disapproval. And thank you for all that you do, all that you've done, and all that you're going to do. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen. We pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Okay, we ready now? Number one, item number one. Hossein, am I pronouncing that correctly? Hossein, would you come forward, please? This is a special exception to keep chickens at 3255 Hammond Drive in an R85 zoning district. This is to give the petitioner permission to keep 6 chickens, no roosters. The applicant has been given the chicken guideline and has stated that they will be in compliance. Please tell us what you wish of us.
All right, so we have
Talking to
6,
the mic.
excuse me?
Talking to the
sorry. So we recently bought 6 chickens for our family. We keep them as kind of like pets. We give our eggs to our neighbors and use them ourselves. Nothing too big. But one time we accidentally did buy a rooster. So of course that made a lot of noise. But soon after we got rid of it, gave it to another family, kind of in the countryside. But for now, it's really quiet. I don't think any of the chickens make more noise than a dog. They're really friendly chickens, really nice chickens. We also made a coop for it, and the coop is in the guidelines of the city. And yeah, they're kind of like emotional pets. I'm going to college soon. I have 3 other siblings. We like having them as pets, and that's all.
Board members, are there any questions?
Yes. Are they going to be kept in the coop that you're speaking of, or they're going to be roaming?
So our backyard is fenced, and they run around there sometimes, and at nighttime they go in the coop. And they're really inaudible, so they don't make any noise at all. Except for a couple of times, they might fight for food, and that's about it.
Any other questions? Any questions from anyone in the audience? Any statements?
Got a hand back in the back.
Come forward. Please state your name.
My name is Louise Jones, and I am a resident of Sturbridge Plantation. We've lived there, my husband and I, he's here. We've lived there for 15 years. We live around the corner from the request store. I don't know them, but we're concerned about the value of our home if we have chickens starting to be raised in backyards, because if you approve it for one, it's going to open the door for others. And while I can appreciate that they like them as pets, we would ask that you deny their request, because we don't want to have chickens that would then bring our home value down.
Any question, board member? Any other comments? Please come forward.
Hello, Ms. Brown. I am Mark Fain. I work with Alpha Insurance, and we're the developer of Sturbridge and have been for 32 years since it started. I'm also the president of the Sturbridge Homeowners Association, so I wear several different hats. But about 6 weeks ago, Shirley Rowling, who will speak in just a second, she started getting some calls from the homeowners concerned about the chickens and the noise and so forth. So we sent a letter to Mr. Hussein, and I've got a copy of it if y'all would like to see that. It's dated May the 3rd, and it references, they live in Plat 13.
May I have a copy?
Yes, ma'am.
Board members, would you like a copy?
Yes. Just like to see it. If you'll just pass it down.
Okay.
But in the letter, it basically refers to, I believe it's paragraph 13 that's in the actual recorded plat, in the covenants that strictly prohibits poultry, which is chickens, from being in the yards of the lots in Sturbridge. And we had requested back on May, in the letter that you'll see, we requested for this request to be pulled. And so we are in opposition to the chickens as it relates to our covenants and as it relates to the Sturbridge homeowners that we represent. And we've got, I guess, about 8 or 9 people here. I know you don't want to hear from all of them, but maybe have a couple of them speak to their thoughts and concerns, if that would be appropriate.
That would be appropriate.
Thank you, ma'am.
Madam Chairman, I'm William McQueen. I've been a resident of Sturbridge for 18 years, and we like our subdivision the way it is. We see no reason to make any modifications to the covenants that would allow poultry to be raised in our subdivision. If we had wanted to be in a farming community, we would not have been in a subdivision. I would like to just bring up something that I think I might hope that you would consider. This is from the variance section of the subdivision code of the City of Montgomery dated November 17, 2017. While the first part states that where the Planning Commission finds that hardships may result from certain or compliance with certain regulations and variances may be made, it also provides that such variations will not be made if they affect and nullify the interest and purpose of the master plan and regulations. I feel like the master plan or the regulations are our restrictive covenants, which we and about 800 other homeowners feel very strongly about and wish to see enforced. And for that reason, we therefore request that you deny this petition. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Rod Berger, and I moved into Sturbridge about 6 months ago, purchased a house, and one of the reasons I purchased was because of the community and the covenants that exist there. So, I mean, I think it will affect the value of the homes in that area.
Anyone else?
One thing, I live on the same street as these fine folks. My concern is the health issue. I did a little bit of research after I found out that this was going on, and the CDC lists several potential diseases that come from poultry. You know, I have an 8-year-old daughter, and a lot of those comes from the droppings of the chickens. They're airborne. It makes folks sick, and you know, as these other folks, and I'm not going to continue to repeat, but I didn't move over there for the purpose of folks having poultry or other farm animals, and so I would respectfully request that this panel deny the request.
Thank you. Anyone else? Would the petitioner please come forward and relate to what your neighbors have said? Let me conduct the meeting, okay? Will the petitioners come forward? Do you have anything that you would like to say?
We humbly request at least we can reduce the amount of chickens we have. So we have 6 currently. We can reduce it to maybe 1 or 2 if that's fine with you guys. And also we also have we're okay with pets and all, So like we have other people's pets that come over. We never complain about it. Like we're okay with it because like we love pets in our household, and it's just like another pet. Like you know, dogs come by our lawn, they drop droppings as well. We never say anything. We're polite about it. It's natural for like pets to do so, and our chickens are caged. They never leave the fence or such. And if you like, we can leave. We can keep them inside the coop. So.
Board members?
May I make
Yeah,
a
of course.
comment?
Yes.
You know, we hear chicken requests all the time, probably most every meeting. So we know that they're all over the city. But this subdivision was specific when it was created, and it had these restrictions and these covenants. So it would seem to me like if these chickens were so important to you, you wouldn't have chosen this subdivision to move to. Do you have any comment about that? And I would also say that other pets that are allowed are not really comparable to chickens, or else we wouldn't be having this discussion.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Williams?
I just like to know, were you aware of the covenant when you move into the neighborhood, and did you consider that, or did you sign the covenant stating that you shouldn't have those type activities in the neighborhood? Were you aware of that?
Turn it off. I'm the son. He's the father. We moved in 2006, I believe 2008, 2006. So I was very young then. I'm not sure. You signed it? I guess you did. Yeah. He said he didn't read any of it, but I believe we signed it. Yeah.
I seen the house only half an hour. The real
Yeah.
estate, he said, okay, you're gonna buy a house within half an hour. So I said, I like it, I like it.
Yeah. So I guess that's our fault.
Yeah, okay, well, most of the time, when you're moving into a neighborhood, you sign, the neighborhood association, whoever, lets you know of the rules of that neighborhood. So, if you wasn't aware, I don't know, but that is the covenant that is said. It's kind of hard to go against that.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments from the board?
Yes. I am not an attorney. My experience with covenants has been this. Covenants are a contractual agreement between the home buyer and the person that developed the property. The covenants are imposed by the plat, and they attach to the property. When you buy the property, you buy it subject to the covenants. Any action by this board about a variance to zoning cannot change those covenants. Whether we deny or approve the variance, my experience to enforce covenants has been that the homeowners association, which is a corporate entity most likely, can file suit against the homeowner for violating the covenants. And then you go to court, and then the court decides about a violation of the covenants. But an action by this board will not change what is in that plat. It can't. It's two different things. That's my experience.
Any other comments from the board? Any other comments from the audience? Then a motion is in order.
I move we deny the variance because it violates, I move we deny the variance because it violates the spirit of the neighborhood, and it violates the covenant, which we're not here to enforce, and the opposition proves that the variance is not wanted by the neighbors.
Motion has been made by Mr. Howell. Entertain a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Nathan Williams. Motion is in order. All in favor?
To deny.
All in favor to deny? 1, 2, 3, 4. All against? 4.
That's 6. Y'all raise your hands, please.
Oh, you raised your hand. I didn't see your hand.
I was right.
Oh, you were right. Wait a minute, y'all. Hush. I know I didn't see his hand. Let me see what I see. Okay? Now raise your hand again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Motion to deny is in order. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 2, presented by Larry Jarrett, representing Lily Richardson, Larry Jarrett, and Jacqueline McGee Bristow.
Good evening.
This is the request of special exception for a private, nonprofit club to be located on the south side of Old Selma Road, approximately 2,500 feet west of Mitchell Young Road, in an agricultural 1 zoning district. This request is being made to give the petitioner permission to operate a private, nonprofit club that will be used for family gatherings, such as holidays, family reunions, birthdays, and so on. The petitioner is only asking for the use at this time and will submit plans at a later date for review or approval. Would you please tell us what it is you wish of us?
First of all, I would like to make a correction. It's not considered a club. It's activity center.
So it's a private activity?
Private activity center, yes. You know, as we grew older, the family grew bigger. As you know, we used to have gathering at each other's house. And as the time progressed and went on, you know, got bigger family. So we had this land. My sister and my other sister, we decided to do something for the family, so we can have activities and stuff where we don't have to be spread out everywhere, and be in one general area. And that would be for parties for the family, like weddings, family reunions, and stuff like that. And also for the churches, so they want to use it also. But it's basically, it's not for money raising. It's just for activities for the family and the community.
Any questions from
Yes.
Ms. Shaw?
Will you be renting it out to other people?
It's not necessarily around. If I knew somebody in the family or somebody who needs to use it, you know, they'll be using it. You know, we could say let them use it for the activity. Yes, like for graduation of a friend. If they want to use it, that's based on what we rent out. If we do that, but it's not for every night. It's not nothing we're going to be going on 7 days a week or nothing like that. Only as needed.
Is there a structure on this property right
Not
now?
yet. It's just a little shed, that's all. Yeah, a little shed.
Is that what that is up there on that little corner?
The little white, yeah.
Okay. But there's no
building.
No building
No
there?
building.
Okay. So you're just asking for, like it says, the use? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
You realize no profit from it. Is that
Oh,
what
no,
you're saying?
no profit. We're not trying to get any profit off of it.
Board member?
Yes. Do you plan to build a building?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And you've got to have, well, you know about all that. Yeah. All right. So you plan to build a building sometime
in the future
to do all these things.
Right.
And there's a lot of things that go with the buildings. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
But the building that you'll be using, you will not be using it as a residence.
Yeah.
No, not be used as a residence.
No.
Okay.
No.
Any other question, board member?
I do. Will you be serving any alcohol at these functions?
Well, I looked at that. When we have things going on at the house, we serve alcohol. So most likely, we're gonna have, drink this, if we might serve some alcohol, but not for sale. No selling, no alcohol, period.
I guess I'm just not quite understanding that a building is going to be built, which costs money. And you are going to, if I understand it correctly, you're going to offer this up to your friends and family to use for events and functions. And that causes wear and tear, and you're going to have lights, and you're going to have utilities, and you're going to have all sorts of things that are going to cost money. And so I'm not understanding how you're going to do this and not rent it out.
As of now, my two sisters and myself, we are going to put the bills on paying all of that as we go monthly. But we just said if somebody wanted to rent out or something like that, like for a baby shower or something like that, you might let them pay a little rental fee, and that's all we get. And they pay for it, use that to pay on the bill. But no weekly, there's no everyday thing.
Are you going to have non-profit corporate papers filed on this?
Non-profit?
Non-profit corporate. In other words, if you're a non-profit, it's a non-profit entity. So
No, we haven't discussed that. Well.
I mean, I think I foresee this becoming an event center, which is, I'm not saying I'm against that at all. I'm just not quite understanding it the way it's being presented.
I'd like to ask a question because at the time the application was made, it was submitted as nonprofit. If they're going to turn it into a rental facility, what Mr. Hughes is saying is correct, and that doesn't fall under special exception. That would require commercial zoning because you've turned it into an event center, which is commercial. But if it's for nonprofit, not a rental hall, for families, we've had other things nonprofit like that before, but we weren't aware of the fact there was a possibility of it being rented.
And he told me when I asked him that question, he said that he would not be receiving any pay for the use of it.
He said no profit, but then later he just said he might rent it for a baby shower.
For expenses and stuff like that. They got to pay the utility bill. Whoever uses it, they pay for like utility, security.
If
they take care of that.
If he's charging them anything, he's running it as a business. It's not.
Right.
And if you're for nonprofit, you have to file the paperwork for 501c3. There's a lot of things you have to do. So I think it's listed improperly.
If it's a nonprofit and he files a paper, the board has the right to consider the special exception.
Right.
If it's not a nonprofit, it's turned in commercial, and the board doesn't have the right to act for a special exception.
And he can't charge rent or rent it out to, if he's going to do it.
I don't know all the details of a nonprofit, if they can charge for it and then turn it back into the facility. I'm not familiar with that at all, but we're going to have a hard time monitoring whether or not we've turned it into a business.
Right.
Well, may I say this? I would think what he would need to do, since there seems to be a misunderstanding of what we are entering into here, maybe we postpone this and let him come back to you and you can explain every detail of what he's entering into. Would you accept that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, we'll delay it until the next meeting next month.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we need to vote on that?
I think we need to vote on that. I think we need to make a motion.
You gotta make a motion.
Will you make a motion, please? To delay.
I move that we delay until the next
Second.
meeting.
Second?
Second.
Who's second?
Sure.
Ms. Shaw?
Who made the motion?
All in favor
Okay.
of delaying?
Got it.
Delay? Okay, thank you. Number 3. Come on, you got to work with me up here so we can get through this. Okay. Isaac Cooper and Justin Johnson.
We with you, baby. You rolling good.
Your names, please.
My name is Isaac Cooper. This is my wife, Aisha Cooper. Justin Johnson couldn't be present. He's currently on military leave.
Okay, and your wife, okay? They're requesting a variance for ordinance number 17, 2014 for a multi-tenant building located at 3447 McGee Road in a B3 zoning district. It's being made to give the petitioner permission to operate a bar or lounge that will serve alcoholic beverages on the premises. The closest door is 60 feet from the nearest residential district line, whereas 250 feet is required. We read ordinance number 17, 2014. You've read that, so therefore we know what we are dealing with. Would you please explain to us what it is that you wish?
We wish to open a hookah lounge here in the city. We will sell flavored
Say that again.
hookah.
You wish to open a what?
Hookah lounge.
Hookah lounge.
Hookah.
What's that?
It's flavored. It's flavored tobacco.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
We also wish to have a small menu, finger foods, and we wish to serve beer, champagne, and wine.
Questions from board members? Statements? Comments?
I do. What days and hours would this be?
Excuse me?
On the operation schedule, what kind of
When will you be
schedule?
open?
When will you?
Oh, days and hours. We would like to open on Monday through Saturday from 5 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Does that answer your question? It does. Any other statement or comment or question from board members?
Yeah, so you're gonna be closed on Sunday?
Yes, ma'am, depending on how the service we receive. As of now, we are planning to close on Sunday.
Okay, and this is going to be a bar lounge, and you will be serving alcoholic beverages?
Yes, ma'am.
Will there be music?
Light music.
And all activities are inside? There's
Yes.
nothing outside?
Yes, ma'am. All activities will be inside. No one will be outside.
Okay, but, and of course, well, you know that you're only 60 feet from the residence, right?
Excuse me?
You're supposed to be 250 feet back from the closest residence, but you're only 60 feet, but you are aware of that, right?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Will you have, where do you have parking out front, in the rear? What is your situation with that?
The parking is out front only.
Okay, nothing in the rear?
No parking in the rear.
And is it lit?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, and have you spoken with any of the neighbors behind your building to discuss what you're planning on putting in?
I've spoke with two neighbors. It's an apartment complex right behind the building, and we have talked to those two people, individuals, about what we plan to do, and they didn't seem to have any issues or concerns.
Any other comment, board members?
Wait a minute, I have one more question. You said beer, champagne, and wine?
Yes, ma'am.
No hard alcohol? Will you be serving?
It depends on the customers. We will do a survey, and we will ask what they would like, and if they decide to have something other than what we serve, then we will accommodate them.
And did I also hear you say something about you were going to have food?
Yes, ma'am.
So there's a kitchen and all that in this?
Yes, ma'am. A kitchen and a walk-in freezer.
Okay. Where is it? Where did this used to be? What was it
It
prior?
was some type of Chinese restaurant, to my understanding.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes, sir. That's correct.
Any other questions, comments? All right.
You make a good presentation. My experience with a hookah lounge is that it started with the best of intentions. It rapidly became a hard liquor place with loud music that disturbed the neighbors. The owners had the best intentions. The patrons carried on and made it a place that was offensive to the neighborhood behind it. Consequently, the owner gave it up at the location it was in because it backed up to a residential area. I'm telling you my experience, that's all. I understand the purpose of a hookah lounge. I understand their social operation with tobacco, with flavored tobaccos and a hookah pipe and all that stuff. But I also know what I have seen happen with one, that it just became another loud bar. That's my experience.
Well, sir, I have no intentions on, as well as my business partner, making it a loud bar or club. We want to play light music. We don't want a DJ. We also have budget in for professional security if needed. I also have acquaintances here in the city that are police officers that I've spoken with about the new business, and I would have them in regularly. I'm very close with them and have them in regularly.
Any other questions, comments, statements? Opposition? Please come forward.
Good afternoon. My name is Beverly Tootle, and I am the director of the Council on Substance Abuse Recovery, Hope Recovery Community Center. We're located at 3447 Suite F and G, directly next door to where the proposed Hooper Lounge will be located. We provide recovery and prevention services to individuals that are seeking to stop using alcohol, opioids, and other substances. No one has come and talked to us or asked us if we oppose having them next door to us. Also, along that strip is a daycare center and another recovery community center, peer support specialist community center on that same strip mall as the proposed lounge will be held. We feel that this would be very detrimental to the recovery efforts of our members that we serve, and we respectfully ask that you deny this petition.
Thank you. Board members, any questions?
How long have you been there?
We've been there approximately 2 months, since May of 2018.
So you weren't there when the other restaurant was there?
No, we were not.
Okay.
Any other questions, board members? Opposition?
I got one.
We do have a question.
Would their hours be the same hours as yours? Would it interfere with
We
that?
are open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and we possibly will have activities on Saturdays, and we plan to start doing sober Sundays.
I have one more.
All right.
Ms. Brown. When you rented 2 months ago, you must have realized this was a shopping center that allowed all kinds of things like restaurants or bars or serving alcohol. Are you in opposition to this because of what it is, or are you in opposition to anything trying to go there that would serve alcohol?
We are in opposition to it because we feel that with it being so close, right next door to where recovery services are being offered, that it would be very detrimental to our clients and the members that we serve in their recovery efforts.
So you wouldn't necessarily oppose it if it were on the other end of the shopping center?
No.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Any other questions, board members? Comments? Mr. Weaver, did you want to make a statement? Anyone else would like to speak from the audience? Would you give your name, please?
Hi, my name is Phyllis Hall, and I live in Glad Lane community. I am vice president of the association, and I'm not sure how many of you all are familiar with the recent accident that we had on McGee Road, which is, I dare say, probably a quarter of a mile down the road, but we've had several car accidents, all related to alcohol. We even had our neighborhood sign that cost thousands of dollars knocked down by someone drunk and driving. We've had several poles hit on McGee Road from drinking and those who were driving while intoxicated. And as my neighborhood association members and I discussed this, we thought that we need not have another place that's going to involve drinking and encouraging that, since we're having problems right there on McGee Road and already with people who are intoxicated. And as mentioned by the other business owner over there, it is next to a daycare, and there's already a bar and lounge in that strip already. There, and we are asking that you would consider our communities, the safety of our families and our neighborhoods as we move forward, because a lot of us are looking to see more family-friendly businesses operated around us. I'm sure you all know that there's McGee Place back behind this strip, and you have Glad Lane coming up, you have Brentwood, and we're all homeowners who want to see businesses, but we would like to see family-friendly entities. I think we have enough already bar and lounges and places for people to enjoy such. So we ask that you deny this for the sake of our homes and our families.
Any other statement, board member? Any questions? Any other opposition? Would you like to address some of the comments that were made?
I'm familiar with the club that's in walking distance from the location where we're trying to do business. To my knowledge, I haven't heard any incidents going on or in or outside of that establishment. Again, we are not trying to open up a club that will be open, all hours of the morning. As far as the daycare go, we should be ramping up when they're closing down the daycare. As far as the center, I am all for trying to improve yourself. I'm all for safety. I'm all for, people trying to recover. But alcohol is not going anywhere. And if they like, we would be happy to exclude anyone that is in their program from alcohol. If they would like to come in and partake in the hookah or the food that we'll be serving, that will be okay. We are not trying to, our main business will be the hookah. It won't necessarily be the alcohol.
Any comments?
I have a question again.
Okay.
Is there, if we approve this, is there anything prohibiting this from becoming allowed a difficult club?
Let's pass that question on.
In other words, what is the nature of what we're approving that they can simply serve alcohol at this location. And so he's saying that it's going to be a quiet little place. But what if it becomes something else? Does that fall under what we are approving today?
The board only has the authority to decide to approve a facility to serve alcohol being closer than 250 feet. If the board approves that, it will go to the council. Sometimes the council puts more restrictions, which the board doesn't have the authority. Right now, the only thing you have in consideration is, are you going to approve a facility that can serve alcohol
within that?
closer than 250 feet? You can't control on what is going to happen in there after that, what type of business is commercial.
We're just dealing with the use. We're just dealing with the use, basically, use of the building, being able to.
The footage.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
We're just dealing with the use of the building,
You're
basically.
dealing with whether or not they can serve alcohol.
Right.
Within closer than 250 feet
Right.
of residential.
And that's all we can do? We
That's
can't
it.
put restrictions on it?
No.
Okay,
That's up to the council.
thank you.
The liquor license will go before the council.
Look on your agenda. It said to give the petitioner permission to operate a bar lounge that will serve alcoholic beverages on the premises. Any other statements or comments from the board? Any other comments from the board?
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
I know it does say that giving them permission to operate a bar or lounge that will serve alcoholic beverages on the premises, but we're supposed to be considering
The footage.
the fact that they're going to sell alcohol and it's less than 250 feet from the closest residence. Is that not correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And, you know, whether they serve whatever else they do, that's on them. We just.
Any other questions, comment, or discussion? Yes.
The daycare center closes at 8 p.m.
You said 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Saturdays.
The daycare center, that's also located in that mall,
Okay. Thank you.
closes at 8 p.m.
Thank
There's
you.
children there until at least 8 p.m. at night.
Thank you. And you are 5 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Yes, ma'am. We will not have a dance floor. We will have only chairs and sofas and love seats, things of that nature. No one will be up dancing, only sitting down, listening to, enjoying music, and smoking hookah.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Any other comments from the audience? If there are no further questions, comments from the board or the audience, a motion is in order. I'll entertain a motion. If there is no motion, what do we do?
Well, there's no action, so
It
therefore
just
it's
fails.
not approved.
Beg pardon?
There would be no action, so pretty close to the same thing as denying it.
It will just be dismissed? You want to say something?
Next question.
Okay.
Well, with the two parties, it's no way that y'all can get together. They said somebody association. We haven't met with the association. There's two people's here. So is it possible that we delay this and y'all go to the association and have a conversation? Because, you know, it's either that or not. You got two programs, seem to be two good programs. But I think you can come up with a resolution between the two. I know her problem, I know what you want, but maybe y'all can come up with something else, you know, because it's good for both sides, really. You trying to protect this, they trying to do this. So I would think we go to the association, neighborhood association, and talk with them and get some more input from the rest of the neighbors that's there.
Any other comments?
I could make one.
Okay.
I think as far as I'm concerned, if you were coming in here with a standard restaurant or something like was there before, Emperor's Garden or something, that served alcohol, I don't think I would have any problem with what you're doing. But I would have a problem, because of what's been said here, of what this could become if things change. So I like the request to delay, to talk to anyone involved or concerned, to try to maybe even put some restrictions on it yourself so that these concerns can be handled, because it could become something very difficult that we would probably all regret.
Steve, but what can really change? I mean, it's going to be a place where they smoke and they drink. I mean, what really other restrictions can they? And then if they say, "Oh, y'all can't have alcohol," then he doesn't want the place there.
Exactly, and Helen just told us we can't put any restriction on it. So
well,
I don't.
We're not deciding whether they can have alcohol. We're just deciding whether they can actually have the use of this building there, and then the city council votes on whether they get alcohol or not, or what kind of alcohol they get.
Is that right, Helen?
They submit an application and it indicates 2 different kinds of alcohol. There's different ABC licenses.
Yeah, we're not approving alcohol. We're just approving that they have the ability to get alcohol at this facility.
Okay.
The city council has to approve the other.
So whatever restrictions could come at a later time.
Right.
Okay.
And, I mean, I don't understand. I respect you asking them to try and get together, but I don't know what middle ground they could reach that's going to affect our opinion. I mean, he can't not have them smoke there because that's part of his business. And
right. We can't restrict it.
Right. And so I don't
maybe
know.
Maybe you're right.
Together, I don't know what good that's going to do us to delay it.
I don't know either, but I cannot make that decision. That I can't say you can't change your mind, because they can talk. You talk can be anytime. You can come together or anything. I don't think I can tell them that they can't talk about finding another solution to what they're doing. Your mind can be changed.
Now, you got to come back now and look at what we are actually doing. The request is a 190-foot variance to the audience.
60 to
because
250.
it is not 250 feet. They are 60 feet
Amen.
from the nearest residential district line.
And they can't change that.
And they can't
no way to
change
change
that.
Amen. And you asked for a motion, and nobody
Gave a
gave a
motion.
motion. So if nobody makes a motion, then it dies.
It dies.
So
What would be their recourse? Except to go
they'd
and
have
talk
to
Ms.
reapply
Miller.
again, I guess. They'd have to reapply.
They have to reapply.
No, they have to appeal to court.
Appeal to court, yeah.
They'd have to appeal it to the court. Right.
Well, I know the motion was denied when I came back with what I asked for to see if they could. Then I would make a motion that if they want to go out and come back, I would make a motion that they delay it until they got together. That's what I said. What I said.
Well, I just wanted it understood what we were supposed to do. According to the request, is a 190-foot variance.
I really think it's up to whether we want to allow a bar club within 60 feet of a house.
That's
what it all amounts to. It really doesn't have to do whether they get
Have
together or
alcohol
not, because they're going to be a bar anyway.
I agree with what Bo's saying. I do. That's what this is about.
So I think you ought to just ask for a motion if anybody makes a motion.
I did. I asked for a motion. Motion is in order.
Mr. Hughes made a motion. Didn't you make a motion, Mr. Hughes?
I did not make a motion. I was just making a comment, asking a question.
I didn't think so. Because they were talking about, and what we were supposed to be talking about was the 250 feet. They're 60 feet. And we were giving them 190 feet variance.
So is the board going to consider a motion?
That's what I keep asking.
If the board's not going to consider a motion, then this public hearing is over for this item with no action.
Motion fails. Number Number 4, Larry Speaks and Associates, Common Ground, Montgomery, requests a special exception for group housing to be located at 1516 Mobile Road in M1 zoning district and B3 zoning district. Request is made to give the petitioner permission to construct a 75-person dormitory type group housing. Bunkhouse for visiting teams from around the country to come volunteer with us to help rebuild the community. They will come and help build and renovate homes in the community in partnership with the House to House Community Development and help to run summer, spring, and Christmas break program for underprivileged kids, and also be trained by our staff how to replicate our impact in urban communities across the nation. We'll work with kids and on houses during the day. They have an economic impact on the city through touring civil rights historical sites and by eating all their meals out while they are here. They also donate to many of our projects when they come, so they help buy material for homes and for kids' camps. They are a huge help to our organization and to Montgomery. Many of the visiting volunteers are relocated here to work with us and other businesses here in the city. The request is a special exception for group housing. The request is a special exception for a group housing. Would you please explain to us what it is that you wish of us?
Yeah, my name is Paul McClendon with Larry Speaks and Associates, and Ms. Brown, I think you covered pretty much everything. We're asking for a special exception to allow for group housing at the Common Ground Montgomery. Their current campus is about a 3-acre campus, and they're looking to construct a building that will house these groups that come in from all over the country to help in the community.
Any comments, questions?
Yes, can you show us that picture? What it'll look like?
Yes. This is kind of the architect rendering.
Microphone.
This is the architect's rendering at this point. The building, the exact details are still being worked out, but the building will actually be constructed out of storage containers. It's a kind of a unique style that I don't think we've seen in this area. It's been done elsewhere, but they have a couple of current buildings on the site. This is I believe, a basketball gym. Is that right? And then they have another building here, and it will be built on an existing slab that's already on the property.
Any other questions, comments?
Well, I could make a comment that he's correct that we don't have that kind of thing in or around Montgomery, but our company has studied that pretty extensively, and they do look they're good. They look very nice once they're completed.
Any other comments?
How many people would you house in?
This will house a maximum of 75 people, and they'll be in town for up to a week at a time.
So are they going to be continuously coming in? When one group leaves, that means another group comes in, or are there going to be times when it's going to be vacant?
Hey, my name's Brian Kelly. I'm the founder of Common Ground Montgomery. Our plan is that this would mainly be summer housing for a group each week for about 10 weeks. And then in spring break and Christmas holidays, we bring in other groups, usually for 2 to 7 days at a time. And they do certain service projects in the community while they're here. So in the summer, it would be back to back to back. Groups come in, groups go out. But we'll use the facility, especially the shade of the facility, to have our kids have outdoor space for the programs and the after-school programs as well. So it'll function that way when we're not having teams in it. Yes, ma'am.
Any other comments?
I just have a comment. Common Ground is doing a wonderful job across town. They should be congratulated on the job that you're doing to help the city of Montgomery. So I think go for it, I can say.
That's very humbling. Thank you.
Any other comment? Any comments from the audience? If there are no comments, then a motion is in order.
Motion to approve?
Second.
It has been motioned and seconded that this be approved. All in favor, let it be known by raising your hand. Approval. It has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Congratulations and good luck.
Good luck to you.
And if any way I can help you in that community, I pass by you every day. Okay.
This is weird.
Okay, we said something about number 5, didn't we?
It's supposed to be delayed unless you want to call his name, see if he's here.
Okay. Number 6.
Number 5.
You got to check to see if he's here.
Oh, they're here?
No, check to see if he's here.
Oh, number 5. They heard me.
Freddie DeLeon.
Are you here? Then we go on to number 6. Number 6, Francisco Lopez. What's the last name?
Ramirez.
Ramirez.
Chicken. More chickens.
Have they left us?
No, she's coming.
Oh, okay.
Chicken.
So we finna get out of here. Okay, this is a request of special exception to keep chickens at 28 Fair Lane Drive in an R100 zoning district. It's being made to give the petitioner permission to keep a maximum of 10 chickens, no roosters. The petitioner has 2 chicken coops located near the center of an almost 1-acre lot. The petitioner has been given the chicken guideline and is in compliance. The request is a special exception to keep 10 chickens, no roosters. Any question, board member? Would you explain to us what it is that you want to do with these chickens?
We just keep them and they just hatch eggs for us. And
Okay.
we have a neighbor next door, and I think she's a college girl. She'll be going over and asking for some eggs, and we'll be giving her some.
Then you understand that if we do approve this, you can only have those 10 chickens that we're voting on today. You can't buy any more and put out there.
Yes, ma'am. We have, yes. And we have 2 houses in the middle of the, coop in the middle
You
of the.
understand the guidelines they were given to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you understand what it is that you need to do in order to keep the chicken if we so approve this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any questions or comments from board members? Any questions or comments from the audience? Come forward, please.
Ms. Brown.
My name is Faith Sweeney, and I oppose them having chickens. I'm concerned about our property values. At one time, though they had a goat over there, they had the rooster, and you can still, from wherever they have these chickens housed, you can still hear the chickens when I'm in my backyard. The chickens have gotten out on a number of occasions where they've been in my yard looking for the chickens. Just as recently as last week, there was a chicken that was out, and I ran it back over to their property. So I oppose it.
Question. Ma'am, where do you live in relationship to them?
I live 2 doors down. I live at 24.
Okay, 2 doors down?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and these are 1-acre lots?
I don't think the lots are that large.
Okay. All
And,
right.
and maybe if they had them way back in the back of the yard, maybe I wouldn't hear them, but I do hear the chickens.
Okay, thank you.
You hear the chickens from 2 doors down,
Yes, I can hear them.
and the chickens come in your yard.
Yes.
Any other statement or comments from the board members?
Yes, You say you live at number 24?
I live at 24.
And
So when I come out my back door, which is my cars are parked in that carport, I can hear the chickens.
There aren't any roosters. There aren't any roosters, just chickens, right?
There were the roosters. There was roosters, but I don't hear the roosters anymore.
But you can still hear the chickens.
I can still hear the chickens.
Oh, okay.
Any
Those
other
are some
comments?
noisy chickens.
Any other comments? Well, since I think she's saying that they do get out of the yard and they do come down in the area where she is, and that with 10 chickens in the yard, she's saying that they do create quite a noisy scene. Any other comments, questions? Thank you, ma'am. Would the three of you please come forward and give your names?
My name is Irma. I'm their daughter-in-law. That's Francisco Lopez. He's the owner of the house, my father-in-law. And that's my mother-in-law, Cornelia Rosales.
And you're all at the same residence?
Yes, ma'am. And our chickens did get loose, but like the lady said that we had a goat. We don't have a goat. We have a big a dog that looks like a goat, but it's not a goat.
Okay, let me correct you on that. She said that there had been that at that residence previous to your coming there, not that you had one yourselves. We wanted to get that corrected in the minutes.
Like the lady said that we had the rooster, we did, but now we got rid of the roosters. We don't have
You
no
don't
more.
have any roosters anymore?
No, ma'am, just chickens.
Just chickens, just 10 chickens?
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions about the number of chickens?
I got a question. Do we know if there's any covenants or restrictions against this in that neighborhood?
We don't look at
We don't
covenants
know.
restrictions.
Okay. But they have been given the guidelines for chickens, and they're in compliance with those guidelines.
According to them, they are.
Are we in agreement on this number of chickens? 10?
Yeah. I am.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I do. Would y'all consider reducing the number of chickens that you have if we were to approve it?
He said he's fine with 5 or 6 if we reduce it.
So you would be okay with 5 or 6 chickens if we were to approve 5 or 6, okay? All right?
Let's go with 5. Would that be all right? 5? We don't want to say 5 or 6. We want to give you a number.
Let's say 6.
6.
I was fine with 10.
Beg pardon?
I said I was fine with 10.
Any questions from the audience? Any comments? Any opposition? Any board member wish to speak further?
Ms. Brown, are you ready for a recommendation?
Then if you no further conversation on this,
But she be all right with chicken, no chicken. The opposition. The opposition.
Would you step
We said-
forward, please?
Okay.
Would you be acceptable of 6 chickens?
Yes.
Thank you.
And if they would move them in the back, to the back of the yard rather than the middle of the yard?
And to keep those chickens
In New York.
in your yard and out of the neighborhood. We were going to put that down specifically, keep them within your yard. Okay?
Can I ask a question?
Okay.
Can you guys move those coops further back in the yard so they're not in the middle of the yard?
In the back?
Yeah, back towards the trees where they're covered a little more.
Move coops.
He says he's fine with that.
Okay.
Move coops further back.
Sounds good to me.
I'll entertain a motion if there's no further discussion.
Madam Chairman,
Um,
I move that we grant the variance, but that they only have 6 chickens and that they move the chicken coops back farther into the back of the yard instead of in the middle of the yard. That they can keep 6 chickens, move the coops.
Entertain a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded on number 6. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Motion passed. Thank you. Number 7. Anita Tate, am I pronouncing that correctly? Fruitful Ground Ministries. Request a special exception for a church and private school to be located at 2813 East South Boulevard in a B3 zoning district. This request is being made to give the petitioner permission to use an existing building for church use and a private school. The facets of this ministry, which include church services on Sunday and Wednesday, life enrichment, career development, and readiness, and a full academic program. It says, see attached brochure on, evidently in here. The online distant learning program will accommodate up to 20 students, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. The requests are special exceptions for a church and private school. The requests are for special exception for a church and private school. Could you please give us your name?
Yes, ma'am.
Address, and what you are here for us to do.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. You wanted my name. I missed the second thing that you wanted me to do because I was trying to talk at the same time. You need my name, and I know you need to know why we're here. My name is Anita Tate, and I'm representing Fruitful Ground Ministries. I'm here with our senior pastor, Pastor Henry Tate. I'm one of the co-pastors and the administrator. This is one of our board members as well as our assistant administrator. She oversees our academic program for our Christian education department for our school. I did want to say the church has been in operation since 2009, the school as well. It's just that we relocated to the area where we are now. And when we originally relocated, there was a church that was in that building, but evidently it was not already zoned for a church. That church was there for a while. In fact, when we first went down to the city, we went down to get our lights on, and we had to get a permit. And we were instructed at that time that it was okay for church approval. But as we discussed the implementation of having the school there, because we were talking about that, the location itself, if I'm not mistaken, it was the wrong, I'm sorry, what were you instructed?
I originally thought it was in the shopping center and
Okay.
realized it was an actual separate building than the shopping center.
Right.
So she's having asked for the church and the private school.
Right. And so this is why we're here today for the church and for the school itself. But like I said, both have been in operation since 2009. The building is a separate building that's located, it's not in the shopping center, but it's an entirely separate building that's located behind the shopping center. It has its own private parking area, has a large playground area, and it has an entrance and an exit already for traffic. So it's not a big traffic problem. Already, the building already has, the sanctuary itself seats about 150. It already has all of the safety things that are required, or should be required for school operation. It has the outside firebox where the key box is. It has panic doors. It has fire alarms that are already in the building. It has accessibility for the handicap. It has 8 bathrooms in it. And the program itself, like I said, it's our church and it's our school. And it's not just the school, but we do all of the things that's there as far as life enrichment, career development, building self-esteem. And we have parents already that have followed us from where we were to here, so they're looking for us to be able to open and carry on with what it is that we've been doing already. So it's not new, it's just a continuation at a different location.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board?
Question.
Yes, sir.
On either side of your property, there are apartments. I mean, one side is apartments, the other side is assisted living facility, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Does any of your traffic go through either of those places?
No, sir, it does not.
So your traffic all goes in and out of the past the shopping center?
That's correct.
Okay, and gets to the bypass that way and
Yes.
all that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And how many parking spaces do you have that come with that building? And
There's parking spaces in the front and on both sides, so we can very easily get, I would say, at least, 50 cars on that parking, because it's private. It's not on the parking area of the shopping center. It's totally by itself.
And so you're going to have up to, was it 20 students?
Yes. Now, the building itself can hold more than 20 students. It's just that that's what our program does. We keep it small because we want to be able to address the need to be able to do what we have to do with the children. So that's by choice.
Okay. And you're there from 7 to 5, okay? All right, that's all then.
Any other questions, board members?
Sounds good to me.
Program is a Christian-based training program that encompasses. Any other question, board member? Any opposition? Anyone wishing to make a comment from the audience? If not, then I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
It has been motioned and second that this be approved. Your item has been approved.
I need a
Thank you
vote.
and wish you good luck.
Well, we got to vote. We got to vote.
Ms. Brown, I need a vote.
Oh, yeah, vote.
She's so excited about this new place.
Thank you.
She might even go back to school there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 8.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
over here. There's a mistake on their name. Their last name is Jarito, not Williams.
And this one?
Spell that.
Jerido.
Dorito.
Okay, thank you.
Got it.
Jarvis and Barbara Jarito.
Good evening.
Number 8, request a front yard variance for an existing building located at 5771 Woodmere Boulevard and a B3 zoning district. This request is being made to give the petitioner permission to maintain a 16 feet by 10 feet concession building that comes within 97/100th foot of the front property line, whereas 30 feet is required. The applicant placed the building not knowing a building permit was required. So therefore, this is a request for a 29.03 feet front yard variance. Any comments, board members?
Let them present.
Would you like to explain exactly what it is you wish of us?
Good evening to all. Yes, we're going to have a snow biz, a tropical snow building there, serving shaved ice, and that is basically the full gist of the business. We already have a detail shop there, and we already have a car wash, a self-service car wash there. We just want to add that little small business to help, increase our income, what we already have present.
Any comments?
Do you have a picture of what this
Excuse me,
building
sir.
looks like? Do you have a picture of what it looks like?
I do.
Okay.
Well, I have on my cell phone. You mean the picture of the building, the 10 by 16
Yeah,
building?
a picture of the...
I have it on my cell phone, if you want to look at it.
Sure.
We don't have an actual picture other than in his cell phone. We also have a sketch of what the, kind of a layout of what the building's going to look like inside.
Thank you. You got one. Okay.
But what did you say is already, what's in the building that's already there?
It's there existing now. We put it there not knowing that we needed to get a permit to have it there.
No.
So right now, we brought everything to a halt once we was made aware of that. Sorry. We brought everything to a halt once we were made aware of that. Right now, we have it sitting there awaiting the approval.
No, I'm talking about, there's
The existing
another
business
building.
that there now, the
Yes,
question is,
there's another building here.
okay, it's a self-service car wash and a detail shop.
Oh, okay, all right.
And this isn't a permanent structure, it's up on blocks. It could be moved if it needed to be moved.
Yes,
correct?
sir.
And is there any way that this can actually be moved further back towards the actual building itself?
What it is, they have the sign company, Lamar Sign, have an easement there. We went ahead and talked with them ahead of time to see would it be a problem with them if we put it in the area it's in, because if we move it any farther, what it does is it pull the building out too far for them to get there in their truck to do maintenance on their signs.
Okay.
Because it would put the building right in the front of the sign, and then it'll it'll come out too far. When the truck back up to put the sign, to change the signs, it interferes with them.
Is this a manned building? Is someone in it having to serve this, or is it like an automated type?
Yeah, he was trying to show
I'm
you
sorry, I
one
didn't-
of it, I think.
Okay, so somebody's got to work the inside of it. Okay.
I didn't understand your question, or didn't
No,
hear
that's
your
fine.
question. Okay.
Any other questions, board members?
Yes.
Comment? Yes. Go
Uh,
on, Mr. Howard.
Okay. Y'all own this building. Do y'all own the car wash?
We're in the process. We don't own it. We actually.
Speak in the microphone, please.
Yes, I'm sorry. We don't own it as of right now, but within our lease, we do have that option.
Okay. So you lease the car wash. You operate the car wash.
That's correct.
Okay, and you put this building there for some extra income.
Correct.
Okay. Can you get around behind this place, behind the car wash, by going through the parking lot next to you?
Yes, sir.
That's how people have to get there.
Yeah, it has two entrances. It has one on this side and one that actually come up a slope.
Okay.
And then there's also the vacs in the back, where it has extra space in the back.
Okay. Why did y'all put it so close to the curb?
Number one, Lamar Sign, in order to work with them.
There's a billboard there.
Yeah, it's a billboard board that goes up,
Yeah, okay.
Lamar Signs.
Yeah, I see that. But you could put it at the other side of the lot or somewhere.
If I put it at the other side of the lot where the entrance, the first entrance there, then it's gonna interfere with traffic coming
Okay.
in. See, that's the package store on the side of us.
I understand. All right, thank you.
Any other comments?
Has it proposed any problem that anybody's aware of?
No, and what we did, we took kind of a survey and a pool of the area of the several apartments buildings around. And of course, we're talking with the store owners in the shopping center facing us and at the package store and multiple people from around the communities in the apartment complex. And they are looking forward to having that in the area.
Thank you.
Any other comment, statement? Any comments? Oh,
Yeah, I got I'm trying to come up with a solution for you. All right, so behind your building, can you put up the picture of the actual building, the overhead? By chance?
Oh, the aerial.
The aerial?
There you go.
Okay, so behind your building, there's I guess, ample area, and then just to the left there's two parking places, and then there's another car there. You see what I'm talking about? See where the shadow of your building is? And then as you go left, there's two parking places, and then there's a car parked there. You see that?
Well, I think the shadow, that's the liquor, I think that's the liquor store, is it?
No, I'm talking about right behind your building, that shadow.
Right behind the building.
Right, and as you go to the left, there's two empty parking places, and then it looks like a car parked.
It's actually right there in the front of the building, like to the side of the building, going to the car wash. Okay, that is an opening there.
Right.
But if we go too close to that, then there's going to be a.
And then there's parking right there, correct?
Oh, it's a spot there,
so
but it would not.
what is that in front of that building there?
It's what we use to park a car.
So what my suggestion is, or question is, can you go to the landlord there and by chance ask him if you could possibly lease 3 parking places there, or 4 parking places there, and move your building there?
One of the reasons, sir,
If it's not a full parking lot, I have no idea. I don't know what the circumstances are. It's just a thought.
One of the reasons, so we try to keep the building where we have it because of the plumbing work that has to be done. It's closer to the water meter, and also the building there is closer to the power meter that we got to run power lines to the building.
Do they have to get approval to
That's true.
run all the extra plumbing and all this stuff if it's going to be a business and restaurant, basically, because they're going to serve
Approval from who?
from
They'll have to get permit.
the building,
Yeah, they'll have to get permit.
building code? Okay.
What it is.
We need to
So could you move it where I'm asking you?
And you asking to move right in the front?
I'm asking you move not the front row of parking along Woodmere, but that back row of parking. Could you
On
ask?
the back side of the existing car wash?
No, not on the back, but just to the left of the car wash. Come here, let me show you.
Okay.
I know, I'm just saying, can they go get it, approval from whoever that landlord is?
I thought it was okay where it was.
Cost them more money.
Well, it's too close to the street, in my opinion. I mean, like, could you ask if you could put it there? Okay. Okay, so they won't let you do it. Okay, that's all. That was my only question.
I didn't think they needed to move it. But, any questions from the audience? Would you allow them to? Thank you.
Thank you.
Could we have one, please?
Thank you.
My name is Jimmy Gunn, G-U-N-N.
G-U-N-N?
Yes, ma'am, 2 N's. I am currently the president of the Woodmere Neighborhood Association. Along with me is Jesse Donaldson. He's the first vice president of the Neighborhood Association. Woodmere Boulevard currently is the main entrance into Woodmere Park, 33-acre park, 1-acre pond. Also the Blount Cultural Park and the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts. There's no access from Vaughan Road due to the wooden bridge that would not accommodate buses for tours. The Neighborhood Association has always been active in protecting the attractiveness of Woodmere Boulevard. to accommodate over 300,000 visitors and residents of the city that utilize the park, the Shakespeare Theater, and the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts. We have also worked closely with the city planning to come up with ideas that we would like to see happen on Woodmere Boulevard. Of course, as you know and we know, budgets and money shortage play a key into that development. As stated, this is a car wash. Primarily, though, I think it's a detail shop. I don't know that for a fact, but I do know they do a lot of detailing there. And I guess some people do go and do their own car wash there. This first came to our attention in the neighborhood by a wooden privacy fence being installed on the back side of this structure. And I didn't know if that was from the apartment complex or from the owners of the car wash, or maybe the renters or the tenants there, but I never could figure that out. But it kind of covered up the gully behind that area, which is behind the sign. But the big thing that brought the attention to the neighborhood association was when this structure was hauled in and placed in the current position that you see on those three pictures. I didn't know what the purpose of that was. I thought maybe it would be utilized as an office for the detail shop. They had in the past, a lot of times, had a tent patio covering with chairs and things that when I saw them, would be sitting in when they were working on the cars. But I didn't know what exactly this structure was to be used for. But if you're coming off of the Eastern Bypass down Woodmere Boulevard, it's very noticeable, and that's very obvious, that you have a large structure sitting at the curb. I currently have water damage to my house due to a water heater busting, and my house is flooded. I'm out of it now, but the contractor brought in one of these rental storage units and placed it in the front side of my house on the driveway, which I kind of relate to this here. I've had numerous neighbors say, "What's going on?" I've noticed that storage thing. So this draws attention from the traffic coming and going, primarily coming into our neighborhood. It's sitting right under the sign. The structure hasn't been leveled out, and it may be because they were waiting to see what the board does as far as this, but the structure is not level. It's at an angle, which makes it even more noticeable. Now, I do not know the people that run this business, but I'm not aware of an entrance to the left side of this structure. I think you actually pull into one of the stalls, do your thing, go to the back, vacuum, and then turn around and come back through one of the stalls. As shown here, it looks like the property line is at the very end of the car wash. So I don't know, according to Mr. Holmes, how they would be able to place that structure unless they did rent or lease 3 or 4 parking spaces there, which would probably not be a good idea from people coming and going and what. I'm not aware of a second entrance, because the right side of the building, the car wash, you can't go into. Today is the first day I've learned that they want to operate a snow cone or some type of business there. I don't know if they have approached the city about a business license or if there's any rezoning that would go to this type of property to accommodate that type of business. This is a car wash detail shop, which goes hand in hand. A second type of business, to me, doesn't fit in with a car wash there. But setting that aside, our neighborhood association would be in opposition to keep this building at its current location in violation of the ordinance, which we all have to abide by, whether it's residential or commercial. So having said that, I would ask that the board not make this exception and keep it within the current ordinance restriction. Thank you.
Any comments from the board? Would you please come
yes,
back?
I have
a comment?
Yes.
Michelle?
I want to ask the gentleman here, are you just in opposition to it being in the current location?
Yes.
Okay, if they were to move it, as Mr. Holmes suggested to them earlier, over to the side where it's not so visible from Woodmere Boulevard, would you be in agreement with that?
Well, right, they would be in compliance with the city ordinance as far as the 30-foot easement from the curb.
Okay, so if they would do that, as long as they're in compliance with the city ordinance, then you're fine with it?
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Now,
all right.
having said that, I might have a problem going down the road with a lemonade stand there, but that's a different day and a different story.
With a lemonade stand?
Right.
Oh, okay.
But I would not be in opposition to placing that structure.
Oh, okay.
Any other statement or comments from the board?
Yes, I have a question. The car wash is, the zoning is B3. So B3 allows this shaved ice stand also, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Any other comments?
I have some for the petitioner, actually.
All right. The petitioner, will you please come back?
There's a few things that I'm concerned about. One is the fact that it does sit basically right up on the sidewalk. Secondly is I'm concerned about parking because there's really only kind of one way in here, and if this shaved ice thing becomes successful and you have people trying to pull in and purchase shaved ice, and you've got 4 or 5 cars at the car wash, there's really no place for anybody to park. And we don't want cars stopping on Woodmere Boulevard and tying up traffic, causing an accident. It also would block, if anyone was walking on that sidewalk coming out of one of those first few stalls, they might be blocked to pull out of that driveway. It could potentially hit somebody. I asked if it could be moved back a little further originally. I know there's the Lamar sign there, but there is a car parked between the Lamar sign and the building in this picture that I'm looking at. So there's got to be some room that could be moved back.
That is space there to be moved back, but if we move it back too far to the building, that's going to be a problem for you all also, because it have to be at least 10 feet from the existing building of the car wash, the storage building of the car
Then you're
wash.
next to the building. That
Yes,
could
sir.
cause another problem.
Yes,
I
sir.
would rather it be closer to the building than closer to the street, though, if I had my choice. But
Okay.
Once again, I mean, it's just my opinion, and everybody on the board can have their own. I think it's too close to the street. It could cause it could be a hazard. Like I said, people pulling in and out of one of those stalls to try and get back onto Woodmere, and you can't see anybody riding a bike or walking down that sidewalk because of the building, and they could be hit. And it could be a parking problem. My suggestion, if you want to continue with this, you try and talk to your next door neighbor and see if they'd rent you a spot to put it. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
How long have you been there?
I'm sorry?
How long have you been stationed there?
The building, we had it put there in March, and once we found out that
March of this year?
Yes, ma'am, of 2018.
Have you had any problems thus far?
No, ma'am, we haven't had any problems thus far. And parking.
Oh, it hasn't been open?
What we was doing, when we brought it in, we had it set, and we realized it was tilting, so we straightened it out some. And once Mr. Dale Hamilton came out and told us that he would suggest that we didn't do anything else on the building until we go through the procedures of what we needed to go through. And that was when it was originally brought to our attention.
Mhm.
So we stopped, and then we went to process that we're going now. Can I address one other thing?
Yes.
Okay. The fence was put up. The original idea was when customers come in and bring their cars in to be detailed, to keep them from waiting for a long period of time, just standing. We put the privacy fence up. We got permission from the owner of the property to put up the privacy fence, to put a sitting area out there with chairs and umbrellas to block the sun off of them. Then the shaved ice came to play because a lot of people wanted something in that area like that. We didn't know that they had a homeowners association that we need to go to because we spoke with the property owners, so we thought that was the extent of it. Another thing I wanted to address, there can be made some parking spaces right there at that, if you look right at the front here when you're coming in on the left-hand side, the first entrance that we share with the package store. There could be 4 parking spaces put there, just like the package store have. And then there also can be more parking put in the back. And when you're looking at customers coming in, customers normally come in, go down the side, and face the street when they're doing the self-service car wash. Some of them pull in directly into the bay and head straight to the shop back and then come back out the other side, the entrance on the left side of me, which would be on the right side of you.
Okay, can I make another suggestion? Why don't you just advertise for it out in front of your building and move this building to the back of the car wash?
I'm sorry?
Why don't you just advertise for it on the front of your building and move this building in the back?
Because if we move it in the back, if we move it in the back, then it's going to interfere with the back. See the backs going down the side?
Yeah.
And the customers have to turn and come back out. So they're going to need that space back there. We can put parking space in the center of that.
4 bays?
Mm-hmm. There's 5 bays and a storage.
Well, it looks like they can't get out. Yeah, one of them. But.
And then there's 4 backs go down the side.
Okay.
And there's space in the center where we can add parking space for the parking of the customers. I think that's enough for like 7 space. When I counted, it was 7 parking space in the back and 4 on the front.
That's all right.
I have a comment.
Comment.
I am in agreement with Mr. Holmes. I don't think that building should be there. I think it's too close to the street. It's unsightly for the neighborhood. It creates a visible barrier. You could have a pedestrian hit by a car who can't see around that building. There's just to me, a lot of reasons why that building should be in the back or somehow away from the front, so close to the street. It's just too close to the street, in my opinion.
Can I say, that first entrance there that we're looking at, we don't use that entrance as for cars coming in because it's a low area there. So we have cones there because we don't use it at all for anyone to come in. It's just too low. So we close that part out. So they don't come through that first entrance there by the little store there. They come around to the second entrance on the back side. We can't use the first entrance because it's too low. We can't use it at all, so we blocked it off.
Is this it's a self-service?
It is.
Facility?
Self-service.
And is it open, what are the hours?
It's 24 hours,
Okay,
it's self-serve.
are y'all there 24 hours?
No, we're not.
Okay, so somebody could actually pull straight out, not pay attention to those cones that are sitting there. They're only a foot off the ground. They're not going to hurt a vehicle. There's nothing to keep somebody from running straight out that driveway, even if they see the cones, correct?
I can't answer that because we just got cones sitting there in the.
I mean, I've picked up cones before and moved to get out of the way. That's all
Right,
I'm
I
saying.
understand.
It's not a.
Mr. Holmes, you're saying
I'm trying. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying to help y'all. I'd love for y'all to have this because I mean, I understand being an entrepreneur and wanting to raise your income and all that. I just think it's not in the benefit of the city, and I think there's some dangerous aspects of it where it's located. So that's why I've tried to give y'all some other thoughts and ideas before we vote on it. That's all.
My question is, you said that there are 5 bays and 1 storage. Which one of those is the storage? Is it the one all the way down on the right?
The one that is a small building, the 10 by 16 building that we have inserted there is directly right next. That's the first one coming from my right, your left would be the storage building.
Okay.
And the other 5 is bays.
Okay, the 5 starting down by
Starting on this end, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So the
And then
one
storage
that's
building.
right, that's all the way down on the right-hand side.
That's the storage.
That's the storage.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How do you access that storage area?
It's a door.
I mean, is the door on the front?
On the front of the building.
Or is the door on the back?
It's on the front.
Okay. Have you do you think that you could consider moving it, turning it where the service part is facing Woodmere Boulevard and back it up to that storage unit, and then that way it would not be in anybody's way. It would be away from the street. It would not cause any visual problems for anybody walking down the sidewalk. It would be right next to the little
storage,
little sitting area that you have over there, where people, if they walk up and get a tropical breeze or whatever, they could sit there, and it would be out of the way, and you wouldn't just see the side of it, you would see the front part of it when you're riding down Woodmere Boulevard.
Okay, let me make sure I'm understanding what you're asking, Ms. Shaw. Your suggestion that we place the 10 by 16 building facing the storage building?
No, in front of the storage part.
Put it directly in the front of the storage building to the car wash?
Right.
Okay, then that's gonna, if I put it right in the front, then the city requires that they 10 feet. That's something, you can't put anything within 10 feet of the storage building.
Well, you could get a variance for that.
I believe that's 10 feet based on the building code. You don't grant variances to that.
Pardon?
That is based on the building code.
Mm-hmm.
This board doesn't grant variances to that.
Oh, okay. So they couldn't do that?
Don't we deal with accessory structures and that kind of stuff, though?
Accessory structures in residential districts.
Right, but not in a commercial.
We don't
yeah.
have, zoning doesn't have a separation for commercial. That's the building code.
Okay.
Okay.
Got one more. Did I understand you to say that you had not ever gotten with the homeowners group?
Well, we wasn't aware that we were supposed to get with them. We went to went to the person that we actually were leasing the property from, which they go through a real estate company, and none of that was brought to our attention.
Would you be willing to delay this and try to meet with them and try to come up with something that's workable for them, whether it's behind the building, beside the building, in the back, some other way to get it away from being so close to the street?
Sure, we can do that, but can
I'm sorry.
I think, let me just ask this. I think if they move it to the side, then they don't have to come before us again. If they move it to the back, they don't have to come before us.
It's fine with me.
So I don't know that getting with them again is going to solve anything. It's really, is it a hazard? Is it unsightly? It's kind of our decision as to whether we agree with that or not.
Yeah, and I've already said what I...
Right. I mean, I just don't know that helps.
Yeah, got it.
Any other comments?
But are
Any other suggestions?
are they willing to move it over to those 2 parking spaces over there?
If they were able to move it, they wouldn't have to come before us, correct?
I thought they said they couldn't move it.
Right, they don't have to.
This variance would not be necessary.
Right.
So that's not really a consideration.
Right. I think it's just up to us.
The whole thing was that they built it before they found out what the rules and regulations were according to building it.
Right, I understand that.
Okay, so that's what we're dealing with here. What is your suggestion according to what we need to do?
I think we just need to vote whether we want to agree to it, whether we want to approve or allow or not allow their variance.
I'll entertain a motion.
Go ahead, Steve.
I move we deny the variance for all the various reasons that it's a detriment to traffic, it's a detriment to the look of the neighborhood, and it violates the ordinance. It needs to be 30 feet back.
Second.
It has been motioned and second that we deny. All in favor of the denial, please raise your hand. 3, 4, 5. Is your hand up? 6. 6 to 1. Nay. Okay. It has been denied. I'm so sorry.
But I would go to the other landowner and see if y'all can work something out where you might be able to move it on their, a small fee to do it, just because then you don't have to come back before us if you're able to move it and it's 30 feet away.
Okay. See what you can do to work it out.
Okay.
The minutes.
Madam Chairman, I move for approval of last meeting's minutes.
Second.
Second.
Oh,
Okay.
that's Mr.
Adjourn.
Adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.